The air inside the studio was tense, thick with anticipation. The red, live, light illuminated above the cameras, and the countdown ended in a sharp silence. The show was titled Crossfire Truths, but tonight, it might as well have been Crossfire Carnage. Sitting across from each other were two figures with reputations that preceded them. Steve Bannon, the firebrand former Trump advisor known for conspiratorial theatrics, and Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, the bold, unapologetic Texas Democrat rising swiftly through the political ranks for her relentless intellect and fearless style. From the start, Bannon looked confident. He wore a smug half-smile, leaning into the desk as though this was just another routine takedown of the liberal machine. The moderator, Kelly DeMarco, welcomed the audience and posed her first question, aimed directly at Bannon. Mr. Bannon, you've called the January 6th investigation a political weapon against patriots. Can you explain what you meant? Bannon didn't hesitate. Of course, Kelly, what we saw on January 6th wasn't an insurrection, it was citizens standing up for their country. And this committee, these Democrats, they're trying to criminalize people who love America. It's a sham. It's lawfare. He gestured toward Crockett without even looking at her. And people like her are just pawns. She's reading a script. Crockett sat still for a beat, her head slightly tilted. Then she blinked, calmly placed her pen down, and smiled, not the kind of smile you give when you're amused, but the kind that comes right before a verbal execution. Let me get this straight, she began slowly, her voice like silk laced with steel. You're calling violent mobs crashing through Capitol windows, assaulting police officers, and chanting for the hanging of the vice president, patriotic. Bannon scoffed. That's not what happened. You're twisting the narrative like the mainstream always does. Crockett didn't break her gaze. No, Steve, I'm reciting facts. Federal charges, sworn testimonies, your own podcast on January 5th where you told your audience, verbatim, all hell is going to break loose tomorrow. Do you deny saying that? Bannon shifted in his seat, caught off guard by her precision. That's taken out of context. Oh, really? Crockett said, reaching for a folder beside her. She pulled out a few printed pages and held them up. Here's the transcript. Your show, War Room. You said, tomorrow's game day. We're going to shut it all down. Then you went silent. Then you refused to testify. Then you hid behind executive privilege. The moderator tried to interject, but Crockett was rolling now. The control room knew better than to cut her off. You helped plan the Stop the Steal rally. You weren't some innocent bystander giving political commentary. You were part of the machinery. And now you're on national television calling yourself a patriot. No, patriots defend democracy. You tried to burn it down. The studio was silent except for the soft hum of the live feed. Bannon smirked weakly, his usual bluster faltering. This is a character attack. You're reading a script designed to demonize me. Jasmine leaned in, her tone sharpening. No script, Steve. I write my own words. I read your words. And you know what they say. They scream intent. You knew what would happen. You wanted it to happen. You used fear and lies to rile up Americans, and you're still doing it. But here's the truth. The people who stormed the Capitol weren't heroes. They were manipulated. By you. She turned to the camera. America, this man thinks you're too distracted to pay attention. Too tired to care. But you should care. Because the moment we stop holding people like him accountable, is the moment we give up on truth. On justice. On this country. The moderator froze, unsure if the segment should continue or just cut to commercial. But it didn't matter. The clip would go viral in seconds. Bannon sat back, visibly shaken. His jaw slackened, words scrambling in his head but failing to form. He glanced around, as if hoping someone would jump in to save him. But no one did. Jasmine Crockett had done what few could. Cut straight through Steve Bannon's web of deflection, distortion, and denial. She hadn't just debated him. She had dismantled him, live, in front of millions. And all Bannon could do, was sit there and take it. The aftermath of Jasmine Crockett's on-air dismantling of Steve Bannon was nothing short of seismic. Within hours, clips of the exchange had flooded social media. On TikTok, Gen Z users mashed her takedown with dramatic music and captions like, "Mother is mothering," while political commentators on both sides scrambled to respond. Twitter, now X, saw hashtag Crockett vs Bannon climb to the top of global trends. And Bannon, for once, he wasn't speaking. On Capitol Hill, Jasmine Crockett's phone wouldn't stop buzzing. Texts came in from fellow members of Congress, civil rights leaders, and even celebrities. One message from a prominent late-night host simply read, "Tell Steve I said hello from the floor." But Crockett didn't bask in the spotlight. In fact, she told her team that morning, "It's not about me. It's about not letting lies win." That same day, she released a statement calling for renewed accountability for those who helped orchestrate the January 6th attack, by microphone, by money, or by manipulation. The statement was picked up by every major outlet, but the message was clear and concise: disinformation is not debate. It's deception. Meanwhile, Bannon tried to regain his footing. On his podcast War Room, he appeared visibly tense, speaking faster than usual, and lashing out at Crockett as part of what he called a deep state theater act. But even his usual followers weren't all buying it. In the comments section, some asked, "But why didn't you answer her questions?" Others posted Crockett's quotes with laughing emojis. He had been publicly cornered, and the cracks were showing. As the week unfolded, Crockett appeared on MSNBC's The Readout with Joy Reid, who welcomed her with mock reverence. "Congresswoman Crockett, did you know you were going to make Steve Bannon forget how to speak English?" Jasmine laughed, but her tone quickly grew serious. "Joy, I didn't go there to humiliate anyone. I went there because people like Steve Bannon are still pushing dangerous narratives, and those narratives aren't harmless. They're tearing this country apart." She then laid out an idea that had been brewing in her office for months, a proposed bill that would require public-facing media outlets, including political podcasts and live streams, to disclose when knowingly false or misleading claims are repeatedly shared to incite political unrest. She called it the Truth and Accountability in Media Act. Her team knew it wouldn't pass easily, not with the current polarization in Congress, but the public momentum was behind her. Within 48 hours, over 100,000 signatures supported the bill's concept. Voters from across party lines, Democrats, independents, even some traditional Republicans, were tired of the chaos. Tired of people like Bannon spewing fire and retreating from responsibility. Back in his own corner, Bannon launched an attack campaign, calling Crockett a Democrat attack dog, and a radical Marxist with good PR. But it backfired. The more he ranted, the more people rewatched the video where he sat stunned, jaw hanging, unable to recover. It became a meme. One YouTuber recreated the moment in claymation. Even Saturday Night Live couldn't resist doing a sketch with an actress playing Crockett coolly sipping tea while a babbling Bannon character melted into his seat. Behind the scenes, conservative strategists were growing nervous. "She's not just sharp, she's media savvy," one GOP consultant admitted privately. "She knows how to drop a hammer and walk away like a movie hero." Crockett, meanwhile, continued pressing for legislative action, appearing at civic events, youth town halls, and bipartisan media panels. She didn't gloat about what had happened, she contextualized it. "This isn't about me and Steve Bannon," she said at a town hall in Houston. "It's about the people who believed his words and stormed the Capitol. It's about the families who lost loved ones that day. And it's about the truth. We can't move forward as a nation until we stop running from it." In the months that followed, her influence only grew. She was asked to speak at law schools and civil rights forums. Time magazine ran a cover story titled, "The Truth Teller: How Jasmine Crockett is Changing the Political Conversation." As for Bannon, though he still hosted War Room, his credibility had been bruised. Every time he tried to attack someone, people brought up that night, the moment Crockett reduced his defiance to silence. One clip, where he stared at her in disbelief, had racked up over 45 million views. The most liked comment under it read, "When truth enters the room, lies lose their voice." And for once, in the world of cutthroat politics, it wasn't just the loudest voice that won. It was the sharpest, the most informed, and the most fearless. It was Jasmine Crockett.